everyone, welcome to our online class. I hope that everybody is healthy and safe and doing well. And because the month is what it's going to be, and I missed a lot of classes last month, I wanted to go ahead and do a free online class for you guys. And just tell you first off that I hope you're all doing well. I miss you. You wouldn't believe how much I miss your smiling faces. And thank you to those who've reached out through Facebook or emailed. We are doing well, and I hope you guys are doing well. So welcome to my craft room. It's a little bit of a mess right now. We just a little brief catch up on everything. The earthquakes that we had a couple of weeks ago, we were right on the epicenter. So my room got shook up quite a bit, and so I'm still in the process of trying to get things cleaned up and put away, but we're doing good, and I hope everybody else is doing good too. So let's go ahead and get started. I am going to make this video for the Cricut class and the silhouette class. For the silhouette class, it's for anybody from the beginner all the way to my advanced students. It is kind of a simple project, so some of you may already know how to do this, but I'm going to show you 3 ways to do this cute little basket, and at the end I'm including an assembly video if you have any questions. So let me show you what we're going to do, and then we'll just jump right into it. So the file that you got was from Paper Closet Designs. It's one of mine, and it was a free file. We're going to take that file and we're going to do it 3 different ways. So this is the first box that we're going to do, the little basket, and I'm going to show you how to do a name, make a print and cut file with somebody's name on it, or you can write Happy Easter. So that's the first project. The second project is the same little basket, only this time I'm going to show you how to make some panels to put on it that don't come with the file. So if you wanted to add the panels, and this one's more for a little girl, where this first one that we're going to do is more for a little boy. We took off the flower. Very, very simple. And then the last project we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to get rid of the bunny ears and just make it into a basket, and then you can add your flowers or whatever. So if you've missed Easter, or you want to do a little spring box or May Day box or whatever, you can do that. These little files make great Easter or spring projects. We know we're supposed to be social distancing, so they make great little door drop gifts. I've made them for my grandkids, and we're just going to fill up some candy and take them to their house and leave them on the porch and get back in the car and drive off. This really stinks not being able to see my grandkids, but great little way to spread some love at this yucky time of life. So we'll go ahead and get started. I'm going to pause the video, and then we'll go ahead. All right, the first thing you'll need to do is we're going to need to download the file, and it is a zip file. So I put this little video together to kind of show you. I know some of you have some questions about it. So in the email that I sent and in the newsletter, both of them had a link to the file. So when you click on that link, it will bring you to this page. And it says your PCD Peep Basket Zip file. The first thing we're going to do is you can come over here to this little drop down. This is your download button. Go ahead and click on it, and it is going to download it. And it should show up right down here. Oh, I should have closed these other 2 windows. But it's right down here, PCD Peep Basket. Now I'm on Windows 10. If you are on a Mac, it'll be a little bit different, but the concept is still the same. So once you're there, you're going to go ahead and click on it and show in folder. And there it is, and it has a zipper on it, which means it's compressed or a zip file. And we're just going to unzip that file. So if I come up here to where it says Extract, Compress Folder Tools, I can click on that, or I can right-click on it and hit Extract All. Either one, doesn't matter if you want to do it up there or hit Extract All. I'm going to get a pop-up window and go ahead and just say extract. Make sure that you notice where it's placing it. So in mine, it's going to be in my download file. And there it is. Now, if I go ahead and click on this folder, it's going to show me that I have the file in Design Space, DXF, GSD. I have some photos, SVG files, and then there is my instructions. So I didn't do a handout today with this class because we've got the instructions there, but basically it's just a template. It's not the step-by-step instructions that I'm doing in the video. If you are using Silhouette Basic or Standard Edition, you will need to either use the DXF or the GSD, and I'm going to show you that next. If you are using Silhouette, you'll want the SVG file, and if you're using Cricut, you'll want the Design Space. So at this point, I'm going to stop the video, and we're going to, and then we'll continue on in just a minute. All right, so once you have your file downloaded and unzipped, you're ready to go ahead and use it in your Cricut. So we're going to open up Cricut Design Space on our desktop, or if you're doing it on an iPad or whatever, and we're going to come up to New Project and go ahead and hit the plus sign. It's going to take it just a minute. When I'm using both when I'm recording and doing the Cricut, it kind of tends to slow my computer down. So once you're in your Canvas window, we need to upload that image. So I'm going to come over here to the left side and click Upload. It's going to bring us to our Upload window, and we're going to click on Upload Image. And we're going to come over here to Browse. We're going to get a pop-up window, so now we need to navigate to wherever it was that we saved that file. So if you'll remember, mine were in Downloads. There's my PCD Peep basket. It's unzipped. It doesn't have the zipper. This is the zipped one. This is the unzipped. So we're going to click on it, open up the folder, and now you have some options. So as I told you before, we've got Design Space or SVG. Now Cricut will open up SVG files. However, not all SVG files are created the same way, and sometimes Cricut changes the way that they work with SVG files. So when I create a project, I always make a folder that's just for the Cricut. So I'm going to open up Design Space by double clicking on it, and we have two options. So my files have the option to be cut with perforation lines or with score lines. I will show you how to do both of them, but we're going to start with our perforation lines. So I'm going to click on it to select and then click on Open, and it's going to open up into this next window. Under Image Name, it gives it the same name that the file had. So you can keep that name or you can go ahead and change it, doesn't matter. And then under Tags, you need to add some tags if you want to. You don't have to. I usually put them under the company that I purchased them from. So Paper Closet Designs. I usually put them either under a holiday or a season. And then if there's something else that you might want to, or might help you remember where it was. So I put Basket and Peeps. And then I'm just going to go ahead and click on Save. And there is my image. This is the one with the perforation lines. So I'm going to go ahead and click on it to select. You'll know that it's selected because it has the green box around it. And then Insert Image. It's going to open up in my Canvas area, and it will open up as a group. Now, if you'll notice over here, in fact, let me just kind of move it around. Right down here, it says resize to a width of 11.5 with your padlock closed, or lock the padlock. And the reason that I put that on there is, again, sometimes Cricut doesn't always bring in images at the right size. And so this will tell you the right size that it needs to be. So if I look up here at my width, it's 11.489, which is close enough. It's going to be fine. I don't want to cut those words out, so the very next thing I'm going to do is come over here to ungroup, click on it, and then I'm going to click on those words and I'm just going to delete them by hitting that red X. Now this image is completely ready to cut. The perforation lines are already attached to my basket, so if I come over here to make it, and I am not hooked up to a machine right now because I didn't want to slow it down even more. Here is our little banner, and I'm going to show you how to turn that into a print, then cut in a little bit, but not right now. If you check your mats, there's your flower, there's your basket with the perforation lines all ready to go, your flower center, your peep, and your peep background. So at this point I could hit continue and then go ahead and set up my machine. Like I said, I'm not hooked up to a machine, so we're going to go ahead and cancel. So if you were doing the first project, so you could just cut this out and it's all ready to go. If you're doing the first project, which is the one I did for the little boy, I would go ahead and either delete or hide my flower pieces because I don't need those if I'm going to do them for a little boy. So I could click on my red X, or I could come up here and on this little eye, I could just click on the eye and it's going to hide it. And I can do that for both the flower and the middle piece of the flower. Then this one is ready to go. I can write my boy's name right there, or use stamps, or like I said, I'll show you how to do it as a print and cut in a minute. That's all there is to doing that one. So we're going to go ahead and select all of this. However, I'm going to unhide my flowers. I'm going to go ahead and select all of that and delete it. And then we're going to go to upload, and we're going to do the same thing, only this time we're going to upload the one with the score marks. So I'm going to hit on upload image and browse. And there are our score lines. So select it and click on open. Again, you can change the name, you can add tags. I'm going to just do this really quick. So I'm going to do Easter and Paper Closet Designs, save it. Go ahead and click on it and insert image. And it's going to bring it up, and once again it's going to have that oh darn it, the words. And so we're going to ungroup it, and I'm going to delete the words. Okay, so this, I'm going to show you how to attach and change these lines right here, into score lines. If I were to send this right now to my machine, I'm going to go ahead and click on Make It. And there is my basket, but there's no lines on it. There's no score lines. And if I come down here to my black mat, it's really hard to see, but there's my lines. And I need those attached, but I also need them not to be cut lines. So I'm going to go ahead and cancel and come back to our canvas. So now I'm going to click on these lines, and I'm actually going to do it over here in the layers panel, and I'm going to find the little thumbnail or the icon that says cut, and it has the lines right there. I don't want those to cut, so I'm going to click on it. I'm going to come over here to line type and cut. I'm going to hit my drop down menu, and then you'll find the word that says score, and click on the word score. You'll notice that that changes those to perforation marks, but what they actually are is now score marks. So they're not going to cut, they're going to score with a scoring blade or a scoring wheel. I also need to attach them to the box. So if I come over here and click on Peep Basket Score Line and get both of them, or I can select both of them. Either way works. You just want to make sure that they're both highlighted. I'm going to attach it. Now when I go to make it, if I come down to my green mat, I have the score lines and the basket, and they're all ready together and they're grouped. I'm going to go ahead and hit continue just to kind of show you how to get ready to, excuse me, to go ahead and cut this. You'll notice over here that it says on the green mat that is a score and a cut. So I will need to make sure that I have a score tool in my machine. It's not going to let me go any farther because I don't have a machine hooked up, so it's just going to sit here and spin. If you're using the maker, you'll change the tool on your screen. If you're using an Explorer, you will put your score tool in and follow the prompts on the screen as you're doing it. So let's go ahead and hit cancel. Yes, I want to cancel the cut. I'm going to hit cancel again, and it'll take us back to our canvas where everything is ready to go. All right, so at this point, if you wanted to make the regular basket, you can just cut everything out, or again, you can delete your flowers if you don't want them. But I want to show you now how to make the panels to go inside of your basket, or excuse me, on the outside of your basket. And it's really very simple. So over here on the left-hand side, you have your shapes tool. I'm going to go ahead and click on shapes. And we're going to get the square first. You want to start with the square. And there's my square. And I know that the sides of my basket are 2.5 inches. So I need to make this embellishment panel fit inside. I'm going to keep my padlock locked, and I'm going to change it to 2.25, which is 2.25, and hit enter. With the padlock closed, I only have to change one side, and it's going to keep it in proportion and automatically change the other side. And now I have a little panel that will fit perfectly on the front or the back of my basket. So I'm going to bring it over here. I'm going to change the color on this just so that it lines up on the mat correctly. I'm going to come over to line type, and there's a little swatch color here. I'm going to click on that, and let's just change it to blue. It really doesn't matter what color we're going to use it. I'm just going to go ahead and change it to blue. And then I'm going to duplicate it. So over here, I'm going to click duplicate. So now I have a panel for the front and the back of my basket. Now I need panels for the side of my basket. So the next thing I'm going to do is come back over to my shapes tool, click on my shapes, and this time get the circle. Click off that little fly out window. We have a circle. The circle on here are 0.20. So I'm going to, with it selected, come up here, keep my padlock locked, change it to 0.20 and hit enter. Again, it's going to keep it in proportion and change it on both sides. Now all I have to do is I'm going to drag my circle, and I'm going to line it up on that circle on my basket. Okay, I want to come back over here and get one of my embellishment panels, and I'm going to duplicate it one more time. And then I'm going to drag that one over here and line it up right where I want it. Okay. This is the part that everybody gets a little bit confused on. I need this circle to be above the square. So if you come over here on the layers panel on the right hand side, you can click on this circle to select it, and we're just going to drag it up the layers panel so that it is sitting on top of our square. And if you'll notice over here, it does that. The circle is now on top of the square. Okay, I'm going to hold my shift key and I'm going to select the square underneath it. Lots of little steps. If you need to stop this video and rewind and go back, that's fine. Okay, with it selected, both of those are selected. So the circle and the square are highlighted on the layers panel. I'm going to come down here to where it says slice and click on the slice button. It's going to take it a minute. Now what happens is I can click on this gray circle and drag it off. I can click on the blue circle and drag it off. And now I have a panel, an embellishment panel, that has a circle cut out of it. These two circles I don't need, so we're going to go ahead and delete them. And now my embellishment panel, whoops, didn't mean to grab that one, sorry. My embellishment panel, I can drag over here. I also want, when I go ahead and cut this, I want it to all be running the same direction. So I'm going to get my rotate tool, click on it, and I'm just going to rotate that so that it's standing straight up and the circle is on the top. I'm going to duplicate that one more time. And now I have two side panels for the two sides of my basket, and I have a front and a back panel. So when I go ahead and click on Make It, there is my label or my banner, which we're going to do in a minute. My flower. I'm going to click on the green one. There's my basket. And there on the light blue are my panels. And they're all lined up so that if I cut them out of paper that say has a definite one-way design, stripes or something, they're all going to be going in the right direction. So that's all there is for that one to do a basket with your panels. So now you can go ahead and do that second project, which I did for a little girl. The last project I want to show you is how to get rid of elements so that we can create the little spring basket and not use the bunny ears. So for right now, I'm going to select my little panels, my embellishment panels, and I'm just going to slide them over a little bit because I want to keep those and I don't want to remake them. And I'm going to select all of this. I'm just dragging my mouse across it until it's all selected. Go ahead and click on the red X to delete it. And now, if I wanted to, I could go back up into Upload. Let's see, and there is the two files that I've downloaded. In your upload image, it shows you the most recent files that you've downloaded. But let's say I downloaded this a while ago, and then I've added more to it. So now, if it's not showing up here, let me show you another way to find those images. And that is over here on the left-hand side. I'm going to go to Images. And this has changed a little bit from the last time, within the last, I don't know, 3 weeks or so. So it's going to look a little bit different if you haven't been on here for a little bit. Okay, I'm going to come up to Ownership. Right here where it says Ownership, I'm going to click on that plus sign. And then I'm going to check where it says Upload. And all the images that I have uploaded from other places are going to show up. So if I scroll through here, these are all of my images that I have uploaded from Paper Closet Design or other places, SVG cuts, wherever. Most of these are actually mine, but they're all in there. So when you go to your uploads and it only shows the last 10 or so, that doesn't mean you have to upload them again. You just need to come over here to Image, Ownership, and Upload, and there they are. So we're going to work with the score lines again. The next thing that I'm going to show you will not work with the perforation lines. It will only work with the score lines. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that box to select it, get the green box all the way around it, and hit Insert Image. And it's going to open it right up with those embellishment panels still there. And again, I want to ungroup it. And I'm going to scroll down. I'm going to click on my words. I'm going to delete those. I also am going to delete my Peep, my black Peep, and my pink Peep because we're not going to use those. We're going to make this into the spring basket. Okay, the next thing I need to do is kind of move this little handle out of the way. What I want to do is I want to get rid of these bunny ears. I'm going to click on my basket. I'm going to come over here and you'll notice that this is grouped together. So I need to ungroup it so that I'm only working with the basket and not those cut lines. I'm going to go ahead and ungroup it. I also have not attached it or changed it to score lines at this point. Haven't done any of that yet. I'm going to come over to the left-hand side and get my shapes tool. I need to get a square. And I'm going to drag this square over to the top of my basket and I'm going to line it up right on the edge of my basket. And you see how that is? It's just, there's my basket and it's right there on the very, very top. So it's just covering the bunny ears, but the front panel is still showing. I'm going to click on my square. I'm going to hold my shift key and I'm going to click on the basket to select it. I don't want the score line. So if I come over here to my layers panel, you'll notice that the square is highlighted and the basket is highlighted, but the cut lines are not. Now I'm going to come down here to my slice tool, click on slice, and I'm going to drag that set of bunny ears away. I'm going to drag that square away, and I'm going to drag my other little bunny ears away. I don't need any of those. Those are just all extra pieces, so I can go ahead and select them. Oops. Let's do one at a time. And just delete them. Now, if I come back over here to my layers panel, on the right side, I have my basket without the bunny ears, and I also have my score lines. I'm going to click on the score line icon, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to drag it above the basket so that you can see those score lines again. With it still selected, I'm going to do the same thing that I did last time. I'm going to come over here to line type, hit the drop down menu, and hit score. And then I'm going to select both of them, just click and drag across it, and I'm going to attach. And now my basket is ready to be cut without the bunny ears, and I can use it to make that little flower basket. With the flower basket, I put 3 flowers on there. So I'm going to bring my flower up here. I'm going to select them. I'm going to duplicate it twice so that I have 3 sets of flowers. All right? Okay, the last thing that I want to show you today is how to turn this little banner into a print and cut. Print, then cut. So as it is now, I can just go ahead and cut it on white paper, and I could write a name on it or put a stamp that says Happy Easter, think spring, whatever. And those are great options. And you may not even want to change it to a print and cut because that might be what you choose to do. If you want to use it as a print then cut, let me go ahead and show you how to do it. The easiest way is first I'm going to just take this rotate tool and just rotate it a little bit so that it's kind of straight. Okay? Now I'm going to come over to my text tool, click on my text tool, and you can type a name or the word Happy Easter or whatever you want. I'm going to put Blakely's name on there. That's my granddaughter. And now, see there it says Blakely. I'm going to come over here to where it says Font and do my drop down and choose a font that I want to use. So if you, you can just scroll through here and find one. If you do not have the Access program, if you're not paying for the Access subscription, and you want a file that's already on your computer that you're not going to have to pay for, click on Systems, and it'll show you all of the fonts that you have on your computer already. So let's just use this one. Let's do the Alyssum Blossom. I'm going to click on it. And it is going to, okay, once the font has changed over, now I can click on this little arrow here and resize it so that it will fit inside my banner. So I need to make it a little bit smaller. So you're just going to play around with it a little bit. That looks like it should work. Okay, so now what I want to do is if I wanted to print it black, I could do that. If I wanted to print it in a different color, I can come over here to Fill, and I can do this do Print, and then I could pick another color. So I could do it in pink for my little granddaughter or whatever. So now I'm going to just drag it in there. I want to show you something else that I can do. So I'm going to click on the outside of the, excuse me, on the outside of the banner, and I'm going to duplicate it. So we're going to drag this one down here for just a second. And I'm going to select both of those, the outside banner and the word, and then I'm going to flatten them. So when I flatten something, it makes it ready to be a print and cut image. So now you can see, if I bring it over and put it on top of my green, that it's going to print that out and then it's going to cut it out like that. Let's say I wanted to do a multicolored name tag. So I'm going to come back to my text tool. I'm going to type a new name. This time I'm going to type James. It's my little grandson. All right. If I come up here, there's a window, it says Advanced, and I can click on that drop down arrow. And I'm going to ungroup that to letter. So now each letter is its own shape. Does that make sense? And you can look over here on the Layers panel and see that each one is its own shape. So now what I can do is I'm going to click on the J. I'm going to hold my Shift key and I'm going to click on the E. Or we might do it one at a time if that's what it takes. And I'm going to come up here to Print. Oh, it did it. It's just going really slow. I'm going to click on that swatch color and I'm going to change those two to purple. Okay, click off to deselect. I'm going to click on my A. I'm going to do the same thing. Print. this black swatch. I'm going to do yellow this time. And then let's do the M and the S. Hold my shift key and select the S. Come up here to no fill, do the drop down and hit print. And this time let's change the color to, oh, let's do blue. Okay, I can select all of those by just dragging my mouse across them. And I'm going to group. So I'm going to come up here to where it says group under the layers panel. Select group. Bring it over to my banner. And once again, it needs to be made just a little bit smaller to fit inside there. And I could have typed the words Happy Easter or Think Spring or just about anything that I wanted. Okay, with it in there. And I'm not doing a very good job at centering it. And I could select both of those and come up to align and do center. There we go, that looks much better. Now with both of them selected, so I've got the group of text and I've got my my label, I'm going to flatten that one as well. And that turns that into a print and cut. So the next thing I would do is this is all ready to go. And go to make it. And there are my two print and cut names. So it doesn't look like the outline is showing up. It's not supposed to. I don't want to print the outline of my label, but it will cut it out. So I would go to, if I hit continue, and like I said before, I'm not hooked up to a machine. If I were to hit continue, then in the next window, it's going to give me the option to print it on my printer, and then I will go ahead and cut it out. Let's go ahead and hit cancel. We'll go back to our screen again. So there are 3 different ways to use the same free file. As a review, the first one we just cut it out normal. We deleted the flowers if you wanted to make it a boy. For the second one, we added panels or embellishment panels using the shapes tool. And the third way was we deleted the little ear buddies by using the slice. All right, once you have all your pieces cut out, then you're going to be ready to assemble it. So I'm going to try and show you how to do this. This is what you'll have. You'll have either a blank label or the one that you've done with the print and cut. For this project, we're going to do that print and cut one that I did. So set that aside. You'll have 2 of your peeps. You'll have the black peep and the pink peep, and you're just going to layer those together. And you can use either a tape runner or glue, whichever one you want. Don't look at my little black piece. I cut out a little corner, but instead of cutting the whole thing, we're just going to use it. So I'm just going to go ahead and put some tape on it. Now I'm doing this super fast so that you're not bored, and you probably will already know how to do this. But we're just going to layer our little peep. And then the black is cut out so his eyes pop through. And then you'll have your flower. So you're going to have your flower and your centerpiece. And that one I am actually going to just do a little dab of glue right there and stick it in. Oh, and I probably put way too much on there. And then if you want to, you could bend up the leaves if you wanted to on your flowers, the petals, or whatever. That will dry clear, so it's going to be okay. And then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put together our basket. So here's your handle. It's got the little holes in it. And then here are the panels that we made ourselves and cut out. So you're just going to take your tape runner
or again your glue, whichever, and match up those little circles as best you can. They don't have to be absolutely perfect. And it doesn't matter if you do the sides first or the top first. Really doesn't matter. You do want to make sure that you get those corners down pretty good. I'm going really fast, so mine are not perfect. And that's just going to stick right in there. And then this one. Okay, and then once you get those glued on, then you can go ahead and start folding your tabs and your sides down. And everything just gets folded inside towards the inside of the basket. And then with either glue or tape, you're going to adhere these inside pieces, these flaps, to the inside of your box. Now normally I would use glue, but for the sake of the video I'm going to go ahead and use my tape runner. And my battery is saying I'm low, so I'm going to try and hurry and do this really quick. But I have found that if I do my embellishment panels first, it's a little bit easier than to fold the box and then glue on those embellishment panels. So I like to put the panels on first, and then I'm going to grab some brads and add that handle. And I just am using these little gold brads that I got at, I think I got them at Walmart. You probably pick them up at Target, or who knows, even Smith's. So you need 2 of those. And if you don't have brads and you don't want to run to the store, you could always just glue this on here. And the way that I've made it is so that you can either do it on the outside or the inside. It doesn't matter which way you're doing it. On this one, I'm going to put the little handle on the outside just because I like that green over the little panels that we've done. And then open it up. And then again on this side, we'll open it up. So now you have your box with your handle. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to take our little Peep bunny and adhere him to the front where the cutout is. And he matches up really well. And then I'm going to take my little Happy Easter label, and you can glue it on there, or you can use some foam pop dots, excuse me, which is what I'm going to do. So I'm just adding some foam pop dots to the back of that. I'm going to put him right on there. And then I'm going to take my little flower see, it's already starting to dry. You can see the glue a little bit, but it'll be dry. And put a foam pop dot on the back there. And then you could put it anywhere. You could put it up here on your bunny or over here. I kind of like it right down there. And that's all there is to this little basket. It's super easy to do. And then you can just fill it up with whatever you want, some little candy or whatever. Go do a little doorbell drop to your neighbors, grandkids, or something fun. Anyway, there you go.